Hello everyone, welcome back to another Unreal video. Let's get straight into things here. I've been doing a lot of fixing, been staying up a lot of nights and trying to break my own code here so I can implement fixes. Stuff might still be broken, but this is looking way more polished now with the menu and everything else. So recently, one of the major fixes, I'll just go ahead and go over to the wall over here just to show you where we're up to. We're in alpha at the moment. We've been in alpha for ages. But yeah, we got some small fixes that we implemented over the past couple of days. And the biggest one was fixing overlapping of the menu and also making sure that the AI doesn't walk around while you're in a menu, of which I managed to fix that with a bit of time manipulation. The way that it works is if you just flat out pause the game, what happens is it pauses everything, and I didn't want that because then it stops all my nice pretty animations from working. So to get around that, what we do is we control the AI's own time and essentially slow time down, so it's like 0.00001, and as a result it more or less stops everything in its tracks. And with that fix implemented, it's made everything else a lot easier, and then as a result I've been able to go ahead and work on fixes for overlays and other things so that stuff just isn't firing off at the same time. So I can't like open the menu and overlay the body cam's HUD over the menu and things anymore, which is it's really great, to be honest. So now, like I was saying before, we've got this Resident Evil 4 style item window that I've shown you before, but this is actually using the mesh rotate component rather than actually doing it through code, which is still as easy to control. We can still pick up if we want, but what was happening was the last time I was running into stuff and pressing pick up, and it wasn't stopping my movement. So I've also got a bit of code that fires off and stops the player's movement when they're interacting with something. So it doesn't impede any of this. It doesn't sort of mess around or completely screw up all my code. Instead, it just stops the player at that point. And then it allows us to, then once we've picked up the item, we can hit interact, it equips it, and then we can interact here. So let's go over the other fixes we've got here. Like I said, the body camera, some of these meshes I still need to tweak the location of this. They all appear in roughly the same place, but because the meshes are different sizes because of how I exported them in Blender, I'm going to either have to try and import some of the stuff from 3ds Max to Blender to get the scale of it and then scale everything down, or alternatively try and come up with another solution for this, because in Blender everything is scaled ridiculously up, so then I've had to scale everything down in the code in Unreal. So yeah, apart from that, everything's running fine here. We can pick up the body camera if we want and equip that, and then we shouldn't be able to overlay it over the inventory. So if I press inventory now, what was happening before was it wasn't sort of doing anything. It still had the inventory HUD over the top, so I needed to get rid of that, and I have done now. The only thing that's happening at the moment is it's still staying zoomed, so I need to come up with a fix for that, because at the moment it just toggles. I think I'm gonna have to come up with a different way of toggling it. But it shouldn't be too hard given all the other fixes that I've implemented recently. But yeah, we've still got the HUD as it was. I kind of got inspired by some of the early sort of stages of Dead Rising, or the early alpha or betas, with the HUD for this. So instead of having it fully black like it was the last time, I've actually made it slightly see-through at the edges, so you can still see what's going on when it's zoomed in a bit. So then we've got everything else. If we go to, say, like one of these items, as you can see, it's completely rotating. None of the HUD is there, and it's zoomed out. So I think I should be able to implement whatever fix I've put here for these models onto the problem that I was having before with the zoom, and we should be fine. And then we've got all the different meshes. I've messed around and fixed the pivot points here and added the actual descriptions for the items in here a little bit, or at least the proper names. And now they all still appear in the HUD as they should, or the inventory when they're collected. They just still, some of them don't have features attached to them yet, but at least they're actually working and spinning round. I think mainly it's the memory card that and the walkie-talkie that don't have any features attached to them yet. Primarily because the memory card, I have to do a lot of stuff to do with saving and figuring out what save data I want to collect, so I'm going to have to do that at some point. The walkie-talkie, it's going to be more narrative-based and be hooked directly to the level events. The only other thing I need to really do is tweak the values of the batteries, so how much battery power they actually give you back. But the reload we've seen on this before. Now the thing is, I've fixed the issue that we had where the HUD would overlay over the top of everything now. So if I'm in the menu, it toggles it off. And then I can reload, toggle it back on, and away we go again. So not only does it get rid of the mesh, it gets rid of the HUD icon as well, and the HUD icon just completely disappears, which allows it to be out of the player's view. I've still got to get the battery working with the large flashlight, but the large flashlight, as you can see, is a lot better. We implemented a new graphic for the flashlight to make it look a little bit better. I've pixelated it deliberately to keep it in style with the aesthetic. I got this by just randomly going on Google and finding flashlight textures and then slapping it into the light effects, so it looks okay. I don't know whether it's actually being used by another game or not. If it is, I'm going to have to make a new one, so that might be changed in future. I'm going to actually have to research where I got that from and whether it's like something official or whether somebody's just used it. You know, like somebody's made it or whatever. I was thinking I would have problems with the documents here and also the door buttons based on the fact of me interacting with them and the AI having to be paused and stuff, but as I started implementing fixes, everything started going wrong. And then when I managed to roll back those fixes, that's when I realized I didn't need to make them in the first place, because the game hard pauses, so nothing can move, and the AI won't move either, so that's not a problem anymore. It was primarily for everything that was interacting with the 3D ring menu that we've got here. Everything that was interacting with this and all the animations and everything, that was the issue. So in future, hopefully we can finish off the gameplay, finish off the AI and its interactions again, and then we're on to environment, cutscenes, characters, and just laying out the scenario really and building everything up. So we'll be out of the early stages of alpha real soon, and hopefully we can be into beta when we start really refining stuff and me stressing out about other things like character models. Anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll see you on the next one. Bye!